Imagine a country so small you can drive from one border to the exact opposite side in less than an hour. Yet the people living inside those borders out-earn most Americans. They bring home more than most German or Japanese workers. This place has no giant oil fields hidden underground. There is no sprawling technology industry here, and the entire population is smaller than the city limits of Columbus, Ohio. Luxembourg achieved this status by looking past physical resources and positioning itself as the essential link in the world's money supply. Think about your own retirement savings or the daily cash flow of a multinational corporation. A lot of that money starts out in places like the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, but trace those funds as they move internationally, and a massive portion routes straight through a single tiny dot in Western Europe. This chart shows the top global investment hubs. As you can see, only the US manages more investment fund assets than Luxembourg. Why does the modern economy, and quite possibly your personal savings, quietly depend on a nation smaller than the state of Rhode Island? For decades, Luxembourg relied heavily on manufacturing. Throughout the 20th century, its economy was built almost entirely around producing steel, making it an oversized industrial player for its small physical footprint. Then the 1970s hit. Global competition spiked, the steel industry cratered, and Luxembourg realized it could not survive by making physical goods anymore. Instead of trying to outbuild larger neighbors, they looked at their geography. Sitting right at the crossroads of major European trade routes, they made a highly calculated pivot toward financial services. The government systematically built a legal and regulatory environment perfectly tailored for international business. They offered clear incentives that made it incredibly easy for global banks to set up shop. Over a few decades, they re-engineered their economy, swapping out steel mills for skyscrapers designed specifically to trade, hold, and process the world's capital. To understand how this actually generates wealth, think of Luxembourg like a major international airport. The airport doesn't own the passengers walking through its terminals, but it earns steady revenue by processing them. Today, thousands of global investment funds and corporate entities are legally registered or domiciled right here, simply to take advantage of that specialized financial expertise. As trillions in assets flow through these legal structures, Luxembourg collects specialized administrative fees. Even a tiny fraction of a trillion is enormous revenue. Predictability is their most valuable export. A reliable legal system protects capital from sudden regulatory shifts or political chaos. That trust is reinforced by the heavy presence of major European institutions. Housing the top legal courts of the EU proves to the market that contracts signed here are ironclad. In the modern economy, proving you are a safe, stable harbor for moving money creates far more lasting wealth than drilling for oil or mining coal. Because of this specific setup, a minor regulatory change passed in Luxembourg can ripple outward, eventually impacting the yields on an American pension fund or a Japanese corporate savings account. Maintaining that central position is difficult. Financial hubs like Singapore and Switzerland are fighting aggressively for those same capital flows, and international regulators are applying intense scrutiny to global tax structures. But if history is any guide, this nation knows how to adapt. They successfully evolved from a manufacturing state to a banking center, and they continuously adjust their laws to stay relevant. Modern power belongs to the nations that integrate themselves so deeply into global systems that those systems can no longer function without them. The richest countries of the future won't necessarily be the largest. They will be the ones that quietly establish themselves as the unavoidable toll booths for the world's moving capital.